What up, guys, and welcome to Summer Lunch Break, a show where we grub out, hang out, and talk wakeboarding. Today, we sit down with the bone crusher himself, Rusty Malinoski. Rusty gives us his take on the past and current contest scene, what it's like being the competitor and ultimate badass that he is, as well as gives us some insider information on what foods really shouldn't be allowed on airplanes. You guys are in for a real treat with today's episode. So without further ado, the man of the hour, it's Rusty Malinoski.
You know what I'm really scared about is if the wakeboarders get too close to shore, they may use some people on the shore as bonking items.
Thank you. A little bit different time zone, so not so much lunch for me, but closer for you.
Did you have lunch today?
I did. I'm at my son's baseball game, so I just had a cheeseburger and fries at the concession. So here we are.
Oh, nice. Sweet.
Yeah, I had to hit the back section so I could be a little quieter for the Zoom.
Nice. Well, that's awesome. Thanks for jumping on here while you're out doing your fatherly duties.
Yeah, no problem at all.
So we're just going to go through a few questions that myself and people who follow the industry might have for you, and we'll go from there, okay?
Okay.
Great. First, we want to start out with just, having you tell us a little bit about where you started, just a rundown on how you ended up where you are today.
Well, originally from Humboldt, Saskatchewan, Canada, which is, not the best for water sports. We do have summers, but they are short and makes it challenging. But I, tried wakeboarding a little bit later in, life in comparison to some of the young kids that start when they're like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. I was, 13, 14 years old when I first tried it. And just absolutely fell in love with it and, was obsessed, and it's all I wanted to do. Didn't care about any other sport that I was playing anymore. It was wakeboarding is all I, wanted to do. So after a couple more years of, short summers and long winters after high school, I came down to Florida, drove down to Florida trying to become a pro wakeboarder.
Nice.
And here we are now.
Sweet.
147 years old.
147. Was there a specific moment back when you were younger that really made wakeboarding kind of become your passion?
Well, there wasn't a moment, but I never even considered like financially anything from wakeboarding when I was younger starting. I didn't care about anything but just wanting to wakeboard. I just absolutely, I don't know what it was. It was just, I loved it so much, and just being behind the boat. I would do anything to have the opportunity to ride. We didn't, my family wasn't like lake people. We didn't have a lake house or a boat or anything. And we raced motocross and hockey and stuff like that, and snowmobile. So it was water sports wasn't like a thing in my, with my family growing up. But when I got the opportunity to ride, I don't know what exactly it was. I just absolutely loved it. And, at the beginning, I didn't even know of anything. Like, I didn't know there was top level guys. I didn't know anything. Small town Saskatchewan, I just wasn't aware of what the sport exactly, how big it was, or what even, that a guy could make a living. So that was never even a question in my mind, like, oh, I want to get good so I can do this as a job. I just loved being on the water. And, that all came later, but that was never a driving force by any means.
Cool. Well, you've done a lot since becoming a professional with video parts, magazine shots, contest writing. What overall has been your favorite part of your professional career?
Man, I don't know exactly like what would be there. I've been doing it for a long time now, so there's been different times throughout my career where um, I I've always been very competitive, and I I can't imagine like I could never comprehend like trying like just doing it to do it and not compete against other like I just that wasn't a that made no sense to me. I
Yeah.
grew up like racing dirt bikes where when the gate drops, everyone leaves and the best guy wins that race.
Hmm.
And hockey, the puck drops and the team, you win. So wakeboarding for me, yeah, like as I was getting better and better, I wanted to compete and, you know, see how I could do. And the competitive side of wakeboarding for me, I believe is a big reason why I still am where I am today. It's a lot of time on the road, meeting new people, different people, being in all over the U.S., Canada, all over the world, really competing. So I put a lot of years in doing that, and that's what for me what drove me to keep getting better and pushing myself was to be able to win competitions. And later, a little bit later down the road with um, video parts and magazine and all that stuff. That was also a lot of fun for me to, try to, you can get, I was, for a good portion of my career, I was just a contest guy or whatever. And that didn't bother me because I thought it was weird if you said you were a free rider
Hmm.
because I get it at now later on down the road, I understand both sides more, but at the current time, I just couldn't fathom, like, what do you mean you don't like want to compete, you know?
Totally.
um, and so I was labeled as a contest rider, I guess, for a lot of my career. And um, looking back, I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, I loved when you were the best on that day and you won an event, there was like no better feeling.
Yeah.
Literally the only time like I could get that same kind of like excitement was when I would be trying a new trick for the first time that I had tried so many times over and over and over, and then finally landing it. That like exhilaration was how winning an event was for me. So,
For sure. I mean,
and,
that's like kind of, a personal win there for sure. Landing a trick that you've been trying time and time again. That's it. They fit
Mhm.
right within each other.
Yeah, and I love I love that you know when you're competing in wakeboarding, it's just, it's hard to do good and do good tricks because when you're riding at home in the wakes, you have more weight in the boat than they do at the event. So the wake is super big and it's usually super nice because you want to ride glassy water or whatever. So
Hmm.
your conditions are super good. The boat's always weighted good. You don't have any pressure. So you can always ride good at home. And it takes like like a not a special kind of athlete, but it takes a different kind of athlete to be able to put his mind right and win and go through all the conditions and the pressure and the stress, and you get in a hard heat where there's four other guys who only take one through, and you watch three of the guys absolutely kill it, and you're like, man, I have to do the hardest possible run I can do just to make it to the finals, and then if you
Hmm.
do good and it's like you move on, it's just it's awesome. I love the reward of um, competition is so great.
Yeah, yeah. Well, speaking, you mentioned that mindset and being able to kind of put yourself in the position to want to compete and do those things. Where do you find like your motivation to be the athlete that you are and can compete the way that you do?
Well, it's different now because our sport is different. It's a little bit competition wise. It's different. When I was in the thick of like competitive wakeboarding,
Yeah.
we could do like 20 events a year. Like
Hmm.
if you did all of the U.S. series, and then if you did the the IWSF series where you traveled like 4 different countries, and little ones here and there, double events here and there, you could literally compete 20 weekends a year, which is a fair bit for wakeboarding. So I just that's what drove me, Monday through Friday, was to ride repetition, and just try to be so dialed that on the weekends I could go there and win. And there's not, let's be honest, when you are competing and you're making more money than you have, say you have your X amount of your salaries coming in, and then you have a couple of good weekends, you can easily, an extra $20,000 in 2 weeks. Who doesn't want that? You know what I mean?
Totally.
it's
Yeah.
it's so not that money was a motivation, but it sure was nice to win an event and get a big check too.
For sure. Well, and even that the motivation for riding and stuff. I also know you're really involved like with CrossFit. Do those
Yeah.
two kind of motivations kind of go hand in hand together, of just your work ethic that you have?
Yeah, I did very heavily do that for many years, and then just almost like anything, it just kind of took a toll on, you can only beat yourself up for so long, and I don't do a super good job of recovering and whatnot. But in those times, I felt like it was good. It helped me drop some weight. So I was, went from like 215 to like 200. So I felt better on my wakeboard, and it felt like I could ride better, and it was easier to ride at a lighter weight. But yeah, I always took fitness fairly serious throughout my whole career, just because I knew, growing up, like playing other sports, you did the physical training as well to be better on your bike or on the rink, or at the rink and playing hockey and whatnot. So it was no different for me when I started to get good at wakeboarding. I rolled the gym side of things right into it. And, I'd ride 2, 3, 4 times a day, depending on the day, and then hit the gym at night. I don't know. I've just always been a very motivated, driven person.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. I love it. It was, I treated it more like a sport than maybe most did at that time. Now the younger guys are doing basically exactly what I was doing back then. They're taking it serious. They're, stretching, flexible, doing, going to the gym more, and, being healthier. Because to be honest, like wakeboarding, for the most part, top level pros kind of know how to roll with it a little bit better. But I mean, wakeboarding can really, really mess you up, especially your knees and back and, shoulders and everything. So, going on a long time doing this, and I've never had a super serious injury.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
circling back to kind of, what the contest scene maybe was like when you were actively like really, really involved with it, and kind of what it looks like now. We would love to get your thoughts on the current contest scene, what it is, and maybe where you think it might be going with just some of these younger guys that are out there.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing. There's, companies out there that are still putting, time, effort, and money into keeping like the pro tour alive, which is an amazing tour, because I was a part of that tour forever. And it doesn't matter what boat company it used to be or what it is now. It's just the fact that there's individuals behind the scenes that are, doing this for the group of high level wakeboarders. And I feel like, sometimes that gets overlooked, what goes into having those events. And I can admit, when you're the big man on campus, you just go in there and you want to win and you leave. You don't think about all the things that go into that event that you get to go to and compete and get a big check if you win, or even get paid out in 5th, 6th, 7th place. There's a big list of people that are, very important. And without those people, we'd never, our sport wouldn't be what it is today, and still going. So the group of people that are still doing the pro tour, I think, hats off to them. I love the fact that they, are keeping it going. The Worlds, Masters, Nationals, all these events. I'm excited. I just signed with Nautique, so I'm going to be going to Masters, Nationals, Worlds, being at all those events, helping out, and who knows, I might even have to strap it on and see
Yeah.
how the old boy does still. But
For
no, I mean,
sure.
I just think, as you get older, you see things differently, and you realize what what it takes to, like just going back to events, a list of people, and that group that makes it happen for all of us. It's very important. And I just wish we could give them more credit than they deserve it all. Because at the end of the day, if they're like, I'm over it, then that's not like, there's no, without a pro tour out, Worlds, Nationals, and all these events, what does your Corey Tunison do? That would suck for those very top level competitive wakeboarders right now, because the riding is so incredibly good. You take those guys. I mean, I don't even want to start listing names, because I'll forget, or I'll forget to mention someone. But there's probably more than 10. I mean, there's a big group of young, and for some reason they're like all Australian too. It's the most bizarre thing. I always said, if like you went country versus country, Aussies would like dominate
I'd take it
wakeboarding
all.
10 times. It wouldn't even be a contest. But anyways, no, they're so young. Or I mean, even if they're not so young, but they're all just in shape little guys. And the wakes, like, I just got my G23, and I went out this afternoon, and I mean, the wake is just so big, and it's so fun. It's like, I can't even imagine what, for a smaller dude hitting a fully weighted down G would be like. Like, it's almost like hitting a small double up every single time. So Corey does 12s and stuff like that, wake to wake, where it's just absolutely insane
Crazy.
to me. It is. But I think I kind of went off track. But the original question was about events. Yeah, I think the fact that there still is probably 8-9 events a year is awesome. And if you're any of those people or top guys are still competing, and I hope that I know there is a huge group of young wakeboarders. And I mean, I see it on our lakes here, obviously, with the situation with COVID. A lot of people had bought boats and are spending more time outside. So I've never seen our lakes in Claremont this busy before. So a lot of people out behind the boats, which is great.
Yeah, it's been, last summer was crazy over here too, and we're expecting for another summer where people are just on the river, on the lake. Like, it's going to be really good, I think.
Yeah. Are you talking about downtown Portland?
Oh yeah, right in our backyard over here.
That is one of my favorite places to go in the summertime.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah, honestly, literally love downtown Portland vibe and on the river. There was a couple of double up events there that were the best. And even though conditions were horrible, but it was still really, really fun.
I love to hear that. I want to circle back though. You mentioned you just recently signed with Nautique. Tell us about that. Congratulations, by the way. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I can't believe, to be honest, I can't believe it. I rode for MC for a long time throughout my whole career, and my deal had, I did a 4-year deal that was up, and I'm at this point, for me, I want to have the maximum amount of fun I can have wakeboarding. And I believe the Paragon and the G, that's how I have the most fun. So, I was able to get a deal done with Nautique, and I honestly couldn't be more happier. I'm just proud. I love that boat, and I feel like they thought of everything with that boat as far as like just being in it and whether you're riding or not. But I don't know. My dream was always to have a wake that was like so big, and I have that now. I've said it for 20 years. I was like, can you imagine if the wake was 5 foot tall? And we're not far off now.
Right? Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't know. I mean, it's I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm very honored and happy that I had the opportunity to work with Nautique, because I wasn't sure if that would be an option, just due to the fact that I'd been with other company for a long time,
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
but I mean, you want to talk about like motivation and that hunger. I have more of that now than I've had in probably the last 5 years. Just kind of like excited
That's
to
awesome.
prove and work, and I really look forward to the next couple of years with a bunch of different companies that I'm working with. So
Yeah,
really
for sure.
fired up.
I like to give you an opportunity to just, if you want to do any shout outs to those companies, for sure throw them in,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've had a great group of people behind me my whole career, but there's certain companies that have been with me since I was 18 years old, like Roswell. They're incredible, and they're doing so great. And I've been with Roswell, Robert, the owner. I met him when I was 17 in Canada.
Awesome.
I've literally been with him ever since. And the Jason over at C-Deck, we're doing some cool custom stuff, and they're
Nice.
really great group of people. There's just a lot of really good people that are so passionate about our industry, and now I have the opportunity to not only like represent them, but just if there's any way my input or my help with anything, it's a lot of fun now. Obviously Hyperlight, I've signed with Hyperlight a long time ago, and we came out with a 2020 a new shape and my new binding for 21, and it's just it's crazy to think after all these years, but it's still fun, and I feel good physically. So I think age is exactly that. It's a number, but there's no denying that I get sore more often than I used to. That's for sure. But I mean, that's just a small price to pay. But motivated and excited, and I think working with the new group of people, well, old and new, but Nautique and the C-Deck guys and my Hyperlight crew and Mission Boat Gear, they're hooking it up. They're taking care of me, making sure my G's all safe, and just lots of awesome people. So makes I hate to use the like, it's just a good vibe. There's a lot of good positive people, and feel like everything's kind of spinning in the direction of like, just life is good, everything's great.
I love that. That's awesome. Good for you. Well, we want to, I have a very special guest question to ask you as well. So we're going to switch gears and do that now. It comes
Who we
from
got?
your good friend Shaun Murray has a very special guest question for you. It is, when you are in the airport, what are you on the hunt for?
Ice cream or cookies. One of the two.
Ice cream or cookies?
Usually.
A very specific kind, or?
Well, I went through a couple of different phases. I was like super into Oreo, loved like Oreo ice cream. And then I got this, I don't know if you have Bluebell there, but it's called Bluebell ice cream. And they came out with this like crazy Christmas flavor. And man, I would go to the grocery store and buy them out. Like I bought like 8 of them one day. It was so super expensive, but I was addicted to them. And now I'm kind of like in the birthday cake flavor.
Birthday
That's
cake.
that's
Okay.
my zone. Yeah. Um, but if that wasn't what he was asking, I also always try to look for cell phone cases and stuff like that.
Cell
I don't know
phone
what.
cases.
Yeah, I always try to like find a
I'm
better
gonna
one.
make you, explain that at least a little bit.
I'm always
Why?
on the. Don't know. I'm always on the hunt for like a better, sleeker, more functioning cell phone case. I don't know.
There's the place to find it, huh?
Weird, weird like that.
Okay. Interesting. Both those answers I was not expecting. So thank
But
you
did
for
he tell you? Did he tell you what he thought I would say?
uh, no, I didn't. He didn't. I don't think he touched on what he thought what you were going to say. He left it
Oh,
up for
okay.
surprise.
Okay, gotcha.
So he'll have to, when we talk to him, we'll have to ask him if you got it right.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he had told you because I'm pretty sure that's the cookies or ice cream because the last trip we were on, I had a real hard time finding either. So it was, it's,
Do you take it on the plane or do you eat it in the airport?
just depends. Depends on how much time I have.
Depends on the day, depends on the mood.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
I believe that there should be certain foods allowed on the airplane. There should be certain foods that are not allowed on the airplane. I was flying home last weekend, and there was a person behind me eating like chicken wings, like straight up like chicken wings.
What?
I was really frustrated. It was so gross. It was really hot. It was really
I
hot.
lost you again. There you are.
No, it was really hot in the airplane, and they smelled like just like hot wing sauce, like hot sauce.
Oh.
And I was like, man, come on, like how can you think taking a thing of chicken wings on the airplane?
It's a good
I was
idea.
like, I was borderline like, oh, that was tough. That was a tough one for me to sit there and not say nothing.
Well,
But
then
ice cream doesn't bother anyone.
No, yeah, that's fine. This interview is now a official public service announcement. Do not take chicken wings on an airplane, especially hot ones.
Don't you agree that that's messed up?
Oh yeah, that's weird. I for sure didn't think that was what you were gonna say. I eat like peanuts and crackers and stuff on the plane, not anything other than that. Definitely not chicken wings.
That's not a problem. You're allowed to fly with me.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, speaking of hot and hot wings and hot, we're gonna move into our category called Hot Takes, where I ask you a couple of questions that a lot of people are probably wondering, as well as myself. So the first one is, who do you consider the best wakeboarder of all
time? Like it's hard. That's a hard question because, like, straight up. I mean, because there's too many. No, but there's too many things that it's like. So when Scott and Gator and all them, like, they had the smallest wakes ever and bad boards and they were still inventing and doing really cool stuff. So it's like, how can you not give those guys huge credit?
Totally.
And then you have like Shaun Murray, who's 42 years old. I don't know, like, right? Is he? I
don't know exactly.
41, 2, 3-ish. And he's still really good on his wakeboard, and he has multiple titles and done so many things. But if I'm going straight up, just dude, it's Parks Bonifay. Like the amount of tricks, and he just changed. I don't know. He could win an event, but then he could go and steal the show on a video shoot or get the covers, and he was just better than everybody by a lot too. He could be not in good physical shape or in a good mental state due to the activities the night before, and he could still put down whatever he wanted. He was just different like
he's
that.
Just a different breed for sure.
So I would say like I would have to go with Parks. but not discrediting like
No, not at
any
all.
of the earlier guys, or it was just, to me, it's because he got a little bit of both ends. He got like kind of still at the beginning, like not such good boat or wakes to like ride behind and the boards, but as his career progressed, so did the boats and boards. And then so by the end of his, or not that his career's over, but by the end of his high level competing side of parks, he was on pretty good stuff and the wakes were fairly decent. So I mean, you got to think like he did a 1080 because they were doing a photo shoot. Bill Dawson. I wasn't there. This was before my time, but I know the story. And
Yeah.
they were sequencing Parks doing a double up, and he was doing a 900 because he was like getting him good or whatever. And they got the shot, and then the boat kind of did a startup roller, and Parks had the driver do one more and like got real good kick and went for a 10 and landed it. Like, and this is how long ago, there's reasons for my picking Parks. It's for stuff like that, and like some of the rails, the gaps that he used to do back in the day, all or nothing, and then double mobs, and he did stuff like way before anybody else ever even did them again. So yeah, it's Parks.
Okay, nice. Good answer. These questions are meant to be kind of hard, so you can't get mad at me. I have to ask them.
I felt like that I just wanted to clarify that I just wasn't outright saying nobody else but Parks. Because there's a huge group of people that without we would never be,
Totally. Oh, totally. And I'm sure if I were to ask anybody else, they'd have the same sort of kind of like, well, I should say this person for this and this person for that. So yeah, you're all good with that. We'll move on to our next one then. Is there any young riders on the scene that you find yourself personally being motivated by?
No, I mean, not really, but not to say that they're super impressive, and I think it's awesome, and I think the level of riding that they are at is truly amazing. I mean, I watch Mossy ride, and he does stuff that's like, what was that? And you gotta like, okay, that was crazy. He's just very unique, and like a kid like Mossy is just awesome. I love everything about him. He's funny, he's outgoing, he's got a good, like, he's a great ambassador for wakeboarding. He's kills it behind the boat, and he's a fun guy. So yeah, but obviously your Corey's and the Nick and all those kids are just so good. It's insane the level that they're at consistently. It's pretty cool.
For sure. Good answer. All right. This one's been so far. I'm thinking this is going to be the hardest question for you, but maybe not.
All right.
What is the worst trend in wakeboarding right now?
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is there even a trend right now?
I don't know. I was hoping you'd have an answer for me, but if not, it's okay.
I wouldn't say anything stands out. I mean, it's back to short ropes and going slow, but aside from that, whatever. I mean,
all right.
It doesn't. I mean, when someone does an insane trick, whether they're at 75 feet or like, I think like Harley rides like 70 feet or something silly like that, but I don't know. It's still like you still have to leave the wake and do what you do and land it and ride away. So whether it's at X like 75 or 85, it's still impressive. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything that stands out to me right now.
Okay, last one. Who actually won the double up contest between you and Steele?
I did 100%. But obviously, like, we straight up did tie the first time. It was too close to like pick a winner, and it wouldn't have been like fair because we like counted frames with Garrett Cortez, he sequenced them, and then I forget who videoed them, but when you like, we would count from as soon as the last frame before your board like left the water, and then
Mm-hmm.
the frame where your board hit the water, and we were like the exact same, but then it was like, well, what if it was too close to have a winner, so that's why we redid it. And then when we redid it, I got into a real big one, and then Steele didn't really get in, or he got into some big ones, but couldn't stick the landing. But had he stuck the landing on there was one that had he stuck the landing on it, he would have won. It was like really big. It was crazy, but he folded on the landing, and mine was still pretty big, but it was big enough to win. So
Okay,
whatever.
so you are the winner, the final determined winner.
Oh yeah, I got the money, so I spent it already, but I left with the money that day.
Nice.
But I don't think we'll ever get to do it again now. Unfortunately.
How many double ups would you say you've done in your lifetime?
I hit a double up every time I wakeboard, so I'm not kidding. Like today, I just went out to test a few different things, and I had a friend driving that doesn't like really ever drive, and I was like turning around, and he like swooped wide, and then I was like, yo, tee it up. And I hit a double up just cause. Yeah, I hit double ups every single time I ride. And to be completely honest, now that I have sick wake, I definitely am excited to ride wake. But in the past, I was only hit double ups, like only, like wouldn't wake to wakeboard, like
just double up all day,
straight up. Probably for 2 years, I only hit double ups. Yeah, I loved it. I love it.
Anything else regarding signing with Nautique you want to share with us? I feel like we didn't talk too much about it. You know, that's so exciting. The first time, I guess I have a question. The first time you took your G out, did you hit a double up right away?
Yeah, of course. No, but the only thing with actually I was at Murray's with the Paragon, and I broke my board like third double up.
Yeah, I saw that.
Super kicked, yeah. And then yeah, but I was only hitting double ups that day too because it was a little bit windy, but you kind of have to like, it's different with that boat because the double ups are like too much. So you have to like set it up different. Okay. Because a lot of times back in the day, you just like, you'd have to like get the driver to kink it so it'd get even bigger, but that is definitely not the case in my current situation with a weighted down G. No kinks needed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you have to be very committed to roll into that third roller.
I bet.
Yeah, I would like to take like have the GoPro bracket for your somewhere where like if it's on your chest or forehead, so you could give the viewers like a legitimate like slow-mo of rolling into a really, really big double up, because sometimes it's like I'm just like, you make that split second decision like if you're gonna do it or not, and then when you commit you're like, oh, and you just roll in and you're like thinking the whole time, you're like, holy crap, that's so big, and then it either goes good or it goes really bad. Right?
Can we expect to see a video of that angle sometime in the future?
Yeah, I think so for sure. I'm gonna I get the opportunity to ride with Murray more now. Makes it a lot easier that we're both with now that I'm with Nautique. So Shaun always has kind of fun stuff going on with he's got a buddy that helps him do a lot of filming and stuff, so it makes it a lot easier. So I mean, a little bit of a drive, but it's well worth it once I'm there.
Totally. That's awesome. Well, I'm all out of questions, and I don't want you to miss any more of your son's baseball game.
No, that was great. I've been kind of watching and talking the whole time. So.
Anything exciting happen while we've been talking?
One of the kids, JD, got beaned, but that was it. He's a big boy though. He's tough.
He's okay? Okay, good. Well, we're all rooting for him.
Yeah, this is nothing. Baseball's easier on, not a lot can go too terribly bad.
Yeah. Well, all right,
Fingers
Rusty.
crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed that nothing goes worse than what's already happened.
Well, actually, on what day is it today? Monday? No,
it's
Wednesday.
Tuesday. No, it's
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Tuesday on Saturday they had a game, and poor kid on Merrick's team was playing third base, and him and a kid hit, and he broke his fib, and he had to get surgery and everything. So it was pretty.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I take that back. That was pretty good intense baseball injury. So poor guy, 13 years old, laid up getting pins and plates in his leg. Yeah.
Oh,
but
dude.
I think that's the first and hopefully the last of bad injuries for their team.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're all rooting for a speedy recovery for him.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to hopefully making my way. Well, depends if we'll be in Portland this year. I hope to be.
That'd be
my
sweet.
My wife's family's from there. My wife's sister lives there, so we definitely make our way there. So hopefully I will be in your neck of the woods, and I'll swing by and say what's up for sure.
For sure. Yeah, that'd be dope. I'd love to meet you.
Awesome. And then if you guys, got any spare money or time, set up a double up event downtown on the river.
I think maybe we'll make that happen again. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's time we do it again.
Okay. I'll be sure to let the bosses know that it's time to make it happen.
Let them know.
I will. Well, thank you so much for talking with us. I'm so excited for this to go live and have everybody see it. We really appreciate you giving us some time of yours and sharing with all of us.
Of course. Thank you. And tell your crew that I said what's up, and we will see you guys this summer. Have a great, safe summer, everyone listening, and try something new. Something
Try
scary.
something new. All
Get
right,
your heart going.
Thank you so much, Rusty.
All right, thank you. Take care.